About a week ago, someone very close to me, a family member, and I argued from morning until night. Long texts, paragraphs, screenshots, voice notes. Some messages we typed only to delete. The topic: one of the most explosive subjects in South Africa right now, immigration and jobs. Here's what I only understood days later. They weren't wrong, and neither was I. And somehow, that's the problem. And it's probably the problem with most arguments you've ever had in your life. Quick context, because you're meeting me for the first time. I'm Zimbabwean. I've lived in South Africa since 2014. My partner is South African. My child is South African. And for the last 10 years, I've been partly in South Africa and mostly working and traveling through the United States, the Caribbean, Latin America, and back. So when South Africa argues about immigration, I'm not just watching from the stands, I am the argument. Now, the person I was fighting with lives in Europe, and they were arguing that South Africans are justified, completely justified, in wanting South African jobs protected for South Africans. And I was arguing the opposite, that even if every immigrant, legal and illegal, left the country tomorrow, it would barely move our high unemployment rate. We went at it the whole day. Receipts on both sides, neither of us moved an inch. I'm not going to tell you who won, because nobody won. I'm telling you because days later, I understood something about that argument that honestly embarrassed me. By the end of this video, you will have one question. One that ends about 90% of arguments before they start. I'm talking group chats, family WhatsApp, comment sections, whatever you can think of. It comes from the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, arguably one of the greatest teachers of our generation. And when I first heard it, it rearranged furniture in my head. And that thing I discovered, the thing that embarrassed me, I'm keeping it for near the end because you need the tool first to understand why it hit me so hard. Okay, Tyson says, Tyson says there's 3 types of truth, and we were only ever taught one. Let's start with the strongest kind. Watch this. That stone falls, whether I believe in gravity or not. Whether the president himself believes in it. Whether your pastor believes in it. It does not need a single vote, a single sermon, or a single WhatsApp forward to be true. That's objective truth. Tier 3. True whether anyone believes it or not. Compound interest is tier 3. You put grain in the village granary every season and it stacks. The granary doesn't care about your feelings, it cares about your deposits. Germs are tier 3. The earth going around the sun, tier 3. The beautiful thing about this tier, you can test it. Evidence settles the argument. You don't debate gravity, you drop the stone. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most of the things you are absolutely certain about don't live on this tier at all. They live one floor down. And I didn't learn about that floor from a book. I learned it in grade 6. What is this? You said money, but look at it. It's paper. Cotton, actually. You can't eat it. You can't build with it. This is worth something because millions of us wake up every day and keep agreeing that it is. And I know exactly what happens when the agreement stops. I don't need a textbook for this one. In 2008, I was in grade 6 in Zimbabwe. And my little brother and I used to play with money, like all the time. $1 million notes, $1 billion notes, just toys on the floor of our house. Not because we were rich, because enough people had stopped agreeing that the paper meant anything, and the truth of it simply evaporated. Same paper, same ink, same numbers. Well, bigger numbers actually. We got into the trillions. The agreement died, so the money died. That's political truth, tier 2. True because enough people repeat it, maintain it, enforce it. Borders are tier 2. Fly over the line between South Africa and Zimbabwe, the line I've crossed more times than I can count. You won't see it from the plane. It's not painted on the earth. It's true because we maintain it with fans, stamps, and agreement. Your citizenship, tier 2. Reputation, tier 2. Even who counts as a foreigner, that's not written in blood. You see, my child is South African, and I'm not. Same house, same dinner table, different tier 2 truth, stamped on each of us by documents that a room full of people agreed on. And this is where it touches your money. You see, your salary, your job title, your qualifications, the rand in your pocket, tier 2, all of it. Stop the maintenance and they evaporate. I watched it happen as a child. Tier 2 truths are real. They'll get you arrested, paid, or deported. But they are real the way a stock fail is real. Real because we keep showing up. One more thing about this tier. Notice that every tier 2 truth has a maintenance crew. Somebody, somewhere is paid to keep it true. Hold that thought. That question, who pays for a truth's maintenance and why? That's a whole future video on this channel. Now the third kind, the most misunderstood kind, personal truth. True for you. Your faith, which football team you support, whether your grandmother's cooking is the best in the world, and it probably is for you, and no laboratory on this planet can test that claim. Some of you are already suspicious. You're thinking, this tier system is just a polite way of ranking my faith at the bottom, putting the lab coat above the elders in the church. Well, that's a fair suspicion, and I want to take it seriously because it's exactly backwards. The tiers are not a ranking, they are jurisdictions, different courts for different cases. And tier 1 is the only tier that nobody can take from you. They can't vote it away because it doesn't live on tier 2. They can't disprove it in a lab because it doesn't live on tier 3. Your faith is not demoted by this framework, it's protected by it. The trouble only starts when a claim sneaks across the border, when a personal truth dresses up as an objective one, or when somebody tries to use a stone to answer a question about the soul. Remember that argument, the one that went all day? Now, you now have everything you need, so let's go back to it. A few days after that argument, it hit me. This person, someone I love, lived in South Africa for most of their adult life as an undocumented immigrant. They basically worked for peanuts, no contract, no security, no recourse if the boss decided not to pay. Working twice as hard as everyone else, not to get ahead, but just to keep the job. But now they're in Europe, they're doing okay. But they hate the weather there. There's no family structure for them, none of the friends, none of the support they had here. So when they say South Africans are justified in wanting those jobs protected, they are not quoting an economics paper. They are speaking from inside that experience. And this is the part that took me the longest to see. They need the leaving to have been worth it. If the system here was survivable, then what did they leave for? Their argument was a personal truth, tier 1, wearing an economics costume. And me, what was I doing? I was firing statistics at someone who was describing their own life. I brought a spreadsheet to a wound. But here's the second thing, the thing that took even longer to admit. My side wasn't clean either. You see, I already mentioned I'm a Zimbabwean immigrant in South Africa. My partner is South African. My child is South African. My family is exactly the kind of family this debate is about. Of course, I needed the statistics to say immigrants aren't the problem. Now, my claim that removing every immigrant wouldn't fix unemployment, that's at least the type of claim you can test. Tier 3 territory. Whether I'm actually right is a separate question. The evidence is genuinely contested. Sources are in the description, and I want you to check me. But be honest with me, because I'll be honest with you. I wasn't arguing to test it. I was arguing to win. We were two people arguing personal truths at each other, both of us dressed up in economics. An entire day, shouting up and down the stairwell of the same building, wondering why the other person couldn't hear. That's the thing that embarrassed me. Not that I lost the argument, that there was never an argument to win. And I need to say this part carefully, because this is not abstract. Right now, in this country and in others, people are being deported by the thousands. And those are not statistics, those are lives packed into two bags. Marriages split across a border. Children with one parent on the wrong side of a stamp. People who built a whole life on a tier 2 truth and watched the maintenance crew change its mind. Families like mine. And at the same time, the local man who is afraid for his job, who watches work go to someone who will take less, whose own government has failed him for 30 years. His fear is not xenophobia by default. His fear is tier 1. It's also real, also untouchable by your graphs. You see, if your framework only has room for one of those two people's pain, you don't have a thinking tool. What you have is a weapon. You cannot fact check a feeling, and you cannot feel your way past a fact. So here's your tool. One question, two parts. Before you type that reply in the group chat, in the comments, at the funeral, which tier is this claim on, and which tier am I answering from? If it's tier 3, bring evidence and be ready to lose. That's the price of admission on that floor. If it's tier 2, ask who maintains it and what it costs. And if it's tier 1, just stop arguing. You cannot win because there is nothing to win. Start asking instead, what did that time do to you? Gets you further than any statistic ever will. The next time you find yourself in a heated debate that does not make sense at all, just breathe and say this to yourself. We're not disagreeing, we're on different floors. If you want more tools like this channel is building a whole toolkit, not what to think, how to think. Subscribe and join the people learning the difference. Now, I'm handing it to you, and it's genuinely a hard one. Local jobs for locals. Which tier is that claim on? Is it tier 1, a personal truth born from real fear? Is it tier 2, a political truth we maintain together? Or tier 3, a testable claim about how economies work? Tag your answer, tier 1, 2, or 3, and defend it. I'm reading everything. Let's attack ideas, not people. The pinned comment has the rules. That's what I found. That's how I reasoned through it. Take it or leave it.